I've been looking for a new desk organizer for a while now, and I knew I wanted something that was modern but still had a nerdy twist to it. So I came up with this Hogwarts castle design based off of an organizer I saw on ModCloth. It's super cute and totally functional, so let's get on with the tutorial. For this project, you'll need oven-baked clay, a rolling pin, an X-Acto knife, the castle pattern linked in the description, glossy white craft paint, gold gilding paint, a paintbrush, a pair of scissors, some gentle painter's tape, a ruler, pencil, a hot glue gun, and some aluminum foil. To start off, print out the pattern linked in the description. Each piece should be perfectly sized, so you can just cut them out and use them as your pattern pieces. This next part is a trick I've learned for working with thin pieces of clay. If you roll out the clay on a piece of aluminum foil, you won't have to pick it up with your hands and try to transfer it to a sheet tray to bake it. That way you can just leave it right on the tin foil and you won't have to worry about stubborn fingerprints or smudging your hard work. For every piece except B, the cylindrical tower, once you've got the clay rolled out to a fairly uniform thickness, lay the pattern pieces on top of the clay and cut around them with an X-Acto knife. This may not be the best for your X-Acto knife, so you might need a new blade after this project is done. One of the trickiest parts of this project is the cylindrical tower and the cone top of it. This is a trick that I'm going to use to bake that. Lay out the pattern pieces on just a piece of tin foil, then cut out the tin foil in that shape. We're going to take the piece of tin foil and essentially form the top without clay on top of it at first. This way the clay will have something to rest on once it goes in the oven, so it'll keep that cone shape. Next, you can roll out the rest of the tower just like you would with any other pieces. Cut it out and then peel off the tinfoil so it's just on the back of the piece. Then take that piece and wrap it with the tinfoil on the inside around the cone you just formed. It might be a little tricky to make it stay in place, but as long as you get the general shape of the cone, you can glue it together once it's baked. Next, you can cut out the cylindrical part of the tower in the same way. Make sure, again, to keep the tinfoil on the back of the piece of clay. We're going to pick this up and flip it over, and in order to get it to stick together, peel back about ½ an inch on either side of the tinfoil and fold it over. Then you can pick it up and form it into a cylinder with the tinfoil on the inside. Then press together the pieces of clay not covered by the aluminum foil. Then you can tip the whole thing up on its side and just try to make it as cylindrical as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. For pattern D, the clock tower, take something that's cylindrical. I used the top of my bottle of paint and cut out a small circle on the top of both pieces. This will serve as the clock face and give the whole piece a little more personality. Once all your pieces are cut out and on a sheet tray, set the oven and the timer according to your clay package instructions and bake. Once all of your pieces are out of the oven and fairly cool, you can peel off any remaining aluminum foil from the inside and backs of pieces. Next, you can start gluing together your pieces. For the cylindrical clock tower, simply glue along the seam of the cone shape and try to make it fit together as best you can. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. If you're using a hot glue gun and you have any unevenness in the glue, feel free to go over it with the very edge of the glue gun and smooth it down. That's a good way to get rid of any unsightly bumps. Next, you can glue the cylinder to the bottom circle shape. This should form almost like a drinking glass that you can balance the cone shape on top of. Next, you can go through and glue the remaining pieces together according to the instructions on the pattern pieces. This should be fairly self-explanatory. Just glue along the edge and hold it in place until the glue sets. The edges might not be perfect, but it's hardly noticeable once the piece is painted, so don't worry about it. At this point, all of your pieces are primed and ready to be painted. With your craft paint, go through and paint the outside of each piece except for the cone-shaped piece. You can leave that one to be painted gold later. It might take a couple coats to get it evenly glossy all the way around, so you can just keep going with the paint until you're happy with how it looks. Once your pieces have dried completely, I did mine the next day, take your ruler and pencil and mark ½ an inch up from the bottom on each side of each piece. Then you can take your painter's tape and, following the marks you just made, section off the bottom of each piece. This will be painted gold. Karen Cavett got me hooked on this Martha Stewart gold gilding paint, so that's what I'll be using today, but you can use any gold paint or any color that you like. Now go through and paint the bottom section that you just taped off on each piece. After it's completely dry, you can peel off your painter's tape and fix any imperfections in the paint line. Once all the bottom sections have been painted, go through and paint the inside of each piece with the same color. This will add a nice accent and it'll make anything you put inside really pop. Lastly, you can go through and paint the top cone section of the tower with your accent color. Let it dry and then you're ready to go. There's plenty of space in this set to hold all of my stuff, and I'm really excited to see it set up on my desk. Remember, you can make as many or as few pieces from this set as you'd like, so feel free to mix and match the pieces and really make this project your own. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you try it yourself, be sure to tweet it at me and let me know. I'd love to see your finished products. And until next week, I'll see you later. Bye!